Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is going to be another eyeshadow palette review. I have picked up the brand new I Heart Revolution Good Luck Charms palette. I'm pretty sure this came out on St. Patrick's Day and it was part of a drop of 2 eyeshadow palettes which are a part of their magic themed palettes. I'm not too sure what they call it, but they had 2 that came out for Halloween. I'm going to do this in my usual format, so if you haven't been here before, I'm going to go through the details of the palette. We're also going to do some swatches, then we'll go into the tutorial for this eye look, and then I will give you my final first impressions on the palette. And there will of course be timestamps down below if you want to skip ahead to any of the sections. So let's jump right in. So this is of course the I Heart Revolution Good Luck Charms palette. As I said, this is part of their magic themed range and the packaging is all kinds of adorable. I mean, look at it. It is very pretty. It's made to look like a book, so you have the name on the side, and I think the whole range is like that. The palette comes in a cardboard box and the front is identical on both of them. However, we do have more information on the back of the box. We have the ingredient list, which we don't have on here. So as always, if you do need to keep an eye on the ingredient list for any reason, just make sure that you keep hold of the box. This is an 18 shade eyeshadow palette and it says on the back that it contains 18 soft, matte and rich metallic shades to make you feel lucky, which is kind of cute. However, unlike the unicorn palette, which I tested a couple of weeks ago now, which had 18 shades for £10, this one is slightly more expensive. We're looking at £12. Both palettes do actually contain the same amount of product. They both have 18 grams, which works out at 1 gram per shadow. So I'm not too sure what the reason is for that price increase. Possibly the packaging, because this does feel a lot more involved. Like there's just a lot more going on, but we are still very affordable with a cost per gram of 67p per gram, and that is still cheaper than other palettes that I've had from Revolution before. As always, on the back of the palette we do have a diagram with each of the shades numbered that shows us if we have any pressed pigments in here, and we do have 2. They are marked with an asterisk. Other than that, the palette is cruelty free and vegan and has a shelf life after opening of 12 months. When we open up the palette, this is what it looks like inside, and I mean the attention to detail is amazing. We even have stars on the plastic that protects the eyeshadows, so I think there is a lot of work that has gone into this palette. I do really like that. We do have a mirror on this side of the palette, and then we have our 18 shades here, and we have a very interesting color scheme. Out of the 18 shades, we do have 6 mattes, so we do have more metallics than we do have mattes, and we will go into more detail about that later on in the video. So I think the next thing to do at this point is swatch the shades and see how they look. So our first shade is called Destiny, which is this stunning silver. I mean, I think this is one of the best swatches we've had from a Revolution metallic so far this year. That's very pretty. Then we have Gems. For a metallic, that's a bit boring as far as swatches go. And then Midas, which is a pressed pigment. Again, that's okay, right, let's carry on swatching. We'll see how the whole thing goes before commenting. We have our first matte next, which is called Lucky. Then back to metallics, we have Serendipity, and then this gorgeous denim blue, which is called Favor. Up next is Opulence. Okay, that is a much better swatch, and I do feel the need to add that this shade and the silver feel a lot more buttery in the pan when you go in with your finger. The other metallics do feel pretty dry. They're still pigmented, like you can still see them on the arm, but they're just a little bit dry. Up next is a metallic again, which is Clover, then Opportunity. Then we have Fate. Then our next pressed pigment, which is called Success. Okay, yeah, that's a nice swatch. I'm happy with that. Then Acorn. Then Horseshoe. Karma. Amulet. Oh, okay, that's nice. And then we're going to finish up with 3 mattes. We have Strike. We have Rewards, and this one I don't think you're going to see, it's Wishbone. Yeah, I might as well not have done anything there. For a palette that is mostly metallics, they're not the best swatches. They're not particularly reflective. You guys will have heard me say this before. When a palette has more metallics than mattes, I want those metallics to be really nice, like just really special, really reflective. If I saw these swatches online, I wouldn't be particularly interested in picking up this palette. It just doesn't speak to me. Now, swatches are not always representative of how something will look on the eye. It might apply completely differently with your finger than it does with a brush. So you just never know from just looking at swatches. I feel like the shades look more interesting in the palette than they do on my arm, which is weird, I don't feel like I've ever had that, but they're just not just not wowing me. So now that the swatches are done, let's move on into the tutorial. Alright guys, time to jump into the palette, and as you will have seen, we're not particularly spoilt for choice when it comes to the mattes. So I'm going to start with the more neutral shades for the crease because that's all we've got, and then I'll move on into some more colourful things for the lid. So I think first I'm going to start off with the shade Acorn over here, which is my darkest brown. I'm going to take it on a Morphe M124. Not much is happening right now. Let me start again. I'm going to pick up some more colour. There we go, that's a bit better. So that's a Morphe M124, and that's going above and around my crease. And then I'm going to come underneath as I usually do. I'm going to come and connect that up at more of an angle than I normally would. We're not going rounded today. And I'm going to pop some of that on the outer corner, I think. And I have already primed my lower lash line as well. I'm going to do the whole thing in one go. So I'm going to bring all of that colour underneath as well. I feel like that needs a bit more, so I'm just going to build it up and blend out and just try and get that nice and even everywhere. Okay, so I would say I did have to dig in a little bit more than usual, probably, just to get that colour payoff, which it's a brown, like I don't feel like I should have to do that, especially when I only have 5 mattes. But we got it there in the end. We have pigmentation. Maybe a little patchy out here. But I mean, for a brown right now, it's looking all right. I'm gonna go into my next shade now, which is Rewards down here, which does feel like a fairly big jump between the two browns, doesn't it? I felt like I would prefer one in the middle, but we're gonna go with it. We're gonna see what happens. For this one, I've taken a Zoeva 231, and it has picked up pretty well actually. And let's see how it blends it out. I have a feeling it's not going to blend out well. It does remind me of the tones of brown in the Mica Beauty On Point palette. I would say they seem to be quite similar shades, and I had a similar issue. So maybe it is just me and technique when it comes to packing on these browns. I'm gonna come underneath as well. I'm trying to raise it up a bit here so that it kind of follows the shape of my brow a little bit more. And then I'm going to go in with the lightest neutral shade, which is called Wishbone. And the brush I'm using here is a Morphe M514. It doesn't look like it's depositing colour, but I can see some sort of softening happening on the edges, which is what I want. Okay, you know what? I think the effect from that one is actually not bad at all. It's really softened that out. I do want to darken that up. I might try the black, which is called Strike, just because I want to see how good the black is. I'm just going to take that on another small brush. Okay, let's try some more. I'm just going roughly where my cut crease will be sitting. I don't know, it's not looking super impressive, is it? Yeah, I would say this definitely isn't the most pigmented black. However, even though it's great to have a black that's really pigmented, you're gonna get so much more with it. One that's a little bit less pigmented is a little bit more beginner friendly. So possibly if you are kind of more starting off with eyeshadow, could be a good thing. I'm gonna bring it underneath. And then starting with Acorn, I'm just gonna go through those browns again to blend that black out and deepen everything up. me, or does that black look more pigmented as I'm trying to blend it out with the brown? I feel like I'm having a little bit of a struggle with it, but let me go through all the shades. We'll see what happens. See, now I feel like that just looks really black. I'm gonna go back into some more of Acorn. Actually, I'm gonna start by wiping off my Morphe M124 on one of these color switches to make sure I haven't got any of the black in there. Because right now, I'm not seeing the brown. It's weird because that black just really didn't seem pigmented at all when I put it on. And all of a sudden, I feel like that's all I can see. Make it make sense. I'm gonna wipe the Zoeva 231. I'm going back into rewards. I'm really unsure about that. I don't know if it was a good idea or not. We'll see at the end of the look. But I feel like I've just created myself so much extra work. Right, I feel like I'm slowly getting there, but I do keep wiping my brush on here just to make sure I haven't got too much of the black. Do like the shape of the eyeshadow though, I will say. But yeah, I'm really surprised. I didn't expect that to darken so much because I really didn't feel like I was getting any pigmentation from the black as I was applying it, so I'm kind of confused. Let me finish that off with Wishbone. Okay, right, I feel like we're getting places. I feel like I quite like the way that looks. Again, I'm gonna wipe this one off. I wanna make sure I don't have too much of the dark colors. But I feel like we've achieved something. I'm not mad about it. I think it'll be nice once we've got the cut crease on, but I feel like that was just like quite a lot of work. I'm gonna take back what I said about the less pigmented black being a bit more user-friendly for beginners, because I don't feel like that was particularly user-friendly. I'm gonna leave that blend here now. I'm gonna stop fiddling with it. I'm just gonna go and do the other eye, and then I'm gonna go and cut my crease, and I will be right back. All right, so my cut crease is on. I have used the Mica Beauty Cosmetics eye primer for that. That's what I keep using at the moment. I have been having a struggle deciding what I want to use because I kind of want to use a lot of things. Initially, I was thinking the greens because we do have a lot of greens, but this denim blue, it is calling me, and so is this silver. You guys have already seen the swatches at this point, but this looks like it's gonna be really good. But I can't decide if I want it on the lid or if I want it on the inner corner. I haven't actually patted out the edge of my eye primer, so let me start with Lucky up here. I mean, we might as well test another matte while we're here. So I've just taken it on a Zoeva 231. I like the shade of green. I'll pick up a bit more. I do like that they give us this deeper green. It gives us a nice transition into greens if that's what you want to go for. I kind of wish we had other deep matte shades, but we don't. It seems to be packing on okay. Gonna add a bit more. And I think I'm just gonna take a little bit of Strike, the black, just to help create that transition here. And then back over that edge with the 231 for the green. Right, I think I'm gonna go with the silver on the inner corner, the blues on the lid, and use the green as a transition. So I'm gonna start off with Gems up here. I'm taking it on a flat brush. It seems to have picked up pretty well. It doesn't feel particularly soft or buttery, but it's picked up okay. Ooh! Sorry, I know I was stunned. I really like the shade of blue, and it has absolutely no issues packing on. And I'm popping it on a diagonal. It's not super metallic, which is something you guys have heard me say a lot with Revolution when it comes to their metallics, but considering it is like a lighter blue, I feel like the pigmentation is better than I expected. So that part I'm happy with. I am just gonna grab a setting spray just to see if that makes any difference. So I've got some more product on the brush. Spritz it a couple of times. I don't feel like it's really making a difference. I swear I always hear some people say, oh, with Revolution, shimmers and metallics, you have to spray the brush, it looks so much better. I feel like with me it doesn't make a difference, but I do think that the colour has packed on really well. It's looking really smooth. That side of things I am super happy with. I think I'm just gonna take it all the way back here. Alright, next up we have to take this denim blue over here, which is called Favour. I'd say again this one feels pretty dry, but picks up well. Oh, you know what? I really like these shades. It's maybe a little bit too dark, so I'm going to take it on that diagonal again, and I think I'll come in, I mean I've got to blend them out anyway, but I think I'll come in with some of the lighter one. Again, it's just not super metallic, is it? It's just not super exciting. I just don't think the metallic shadows are my favourite type. I feel like I would prefer a shimmer, because I feel like either you do a metallic really, really well and it is beautiful and reflective, or it's just like this. So let me take some more of gems now. Ooh, I like the way they're mixing in, I do. Next up, I want to take Opportunity, the dark green. So again, that is another flat brush. Again, with this one, I feel like it is a bit of a drier texture, but I don't feel like they have any issues packing on. I feel like we're gonna get a really nice blend here. I'm gonna go back into Favour now. I'm like so 50-50 because I love the colours. The colours are getting me really excited. I feel like the actual metallicness of it could be better, but the shades, I love this blend. I'm sorry, I'm really excited. It just makes me happy, it really does. Right, so I just did the other eye off camera, and guys, the more I look at this, the more I really like it. I kind of didn't expect to going into this video, so I am very, very pleased so far. So we're just going to finish off the eyeshadow now, and the first thing I'm going to do is just take some of Amulet down here. I'm going to take it on a really small brush and pop it on at the front of the lower lash line. That looks like a really nice metallic. I know I'm only putting it on a really, really small surface, but that makes me a bit happier in terms of how reflective it appears to be. And then just to match the other eye, I'm just going to take the brush that I used with the black, just kind of blend over. I kind of wish there was a darker metallic in the same family, like a metallic brown that would match the darkest matte brown a bit more. I feel like that would look really nice, but I'm still happy with this. And then the moment that I have been waiting for, I'm very, very excited. I am going to take Destiny on my Nancy tapered crease brush. Let's see what happens. Ooh, okay, now that is lovely. That is a colour I like. I'm going to bring it back into the cut crease a little bit. I like the shade, but I don't know if I'm happy that I did that. Oh no! Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. I'm going to take some more of Amulet. That was a plot twist that I did not expect. I think that works. I hope it does. I don't know, I'm gonna add liner. Liner will fix it, won't it? Liner fixes everything. Right, I'm gonna start off with my Inglot gel liner. And I've added some Revolution Pro mixing liquid to it. And I'm gonna draw on a nice thick liner, and I'm gonna come and smoke it out. Okay, I've made it very thick, but we're gonna go with it. And I'm gonna leave that to dry while I go and do the other eye. Otherwise it's gonna blend out too far. And then I'm just gonna take a clean Sigma E36 and pat that out. I feel like we need some gold. We need some gold. Do I have gold? I never do have gold. I'm gonna take the Beauty Bay Liquid Crystal eyeshadow in the shade Pyrite. I'm gonna pick that up with my liner brush, and that's gonna go above the liner. I'm gonna take more of the liner just to neaten the underneath up. And then I just need to fix up that inner corner because I'm just not quite happy with it. It's gotta be crystalline, who knows? I still have no idea at this point, but it's from Pixie. And I'm gonna take that on a Zoeva 231 and just stamp that on the inner corner. There we go, that is so much better. I mean, if you don't have this liquid eyeshadow, it is a little bit more pricey. I want to say it's like £15, but I use it all the time. I love it, it's the best, it's the best. Right, so that just leaves me the waterline. What do I want to do? I think perhaps this one, yeah. This is Oceana by MUA, one of their intense colour eyeliners. Oh, that is a good match. That is a good match. I'm happy with that. Oh, they aren't the best eyeliners. I like their lip liners, but their eyeliners could be more pigmented. But they are really, really cheap. So guys, we are gonna leave the eye look here, and I am obsessed. I really, really like this one. I'm super pleased with how it's come out. I'm gonna go and do the rest of my makeup off camera now, and I will come back and give you my final thoughts on the palette. All right guys, here is the finished look. What do we think? I have to say I am a little bit obsessed with this one. I really, really like how it came out. In fact, I think it's probably one of my favorite looks I've done this year. Like I just absolutely love it. I kind of came into this palette not really knowing what to expect, not too sure what direction I was going to go in, and I love it. I'm really, really pleased with it. So let's go into my final thoughts on this palette, and I'm going to start by saying that this has been a very pleasant surprise. I don't know if it's because my Revolution Ultraviolet palette review kind of left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. I got this palette and I looked at the colour scheme and I really didn't know how this was gonna go. I think the thing is for me is that I am someone who prefers palettes to be more organized. Like when they're a bit messy, I can't really visualize what I want to do with them. So when I look at this palette, I don't immediately feel super inspired. But now that I've had a closer look at it, we do have a really interesting spectrum of colors. When it comes to the metallics, we have some warm shades, we have some cool shades, we have some darker ones, some lighter ones. There's actually quite a lot that we can do with them. Now when it comes to the mattes and the fact that we have less of them than we have metallics, I don't mind too much with this particular palette. And this is something that I said in my review of the On Point palette by Mica Beauty Cosmetics. I don't mind having a small amount of matte shades if they are all more neutral. The problem for me comes about when you have matte shades that are completely different from each other and you don't really have anything to blend them out. We do have the dark green shade in this palette and I was able to use it today. I did think it worked, but the one that is a bit of a problem to me is the purple. Like I feel like I'm never gonna use it. What am I gonna blend it in with? Am I gonna blend it into the browns? Is that gonna work? I think I would have preferred if it had been a dark purple. So yeah, again, I'm not too bothered about having fewer mattes than metallics, but I feel like it could have been perfected a little bit. Like it's just not quite there. Now when it comes to the metallics, I think you guys know what I'm gonna say because it's what I said in my last two Revolution palette reviews. The metallic texture itself isn't super interesting. Now there are some in here that do work better than the others, you know, the silver, then this one. They swatched better, they were more reflective, and when I used those two shades on my eyes, they did have a lot more impact than the other metallics did. When it comes to the others, they're just okay, and I mean this one could have been a matte. It's almost more like a satin. Revolution just aren't giving us interesting textures and I don't understand why. Now I do think that this palette works a lot better than the Ultraviolet palette did for me, and the reason for that is the variety of colours. I think there's just so much more going on in here. I was a lot more impressed on the eye, whereas the Ultraviolet palette didn't have the colours, didn't have the textures. This one does work better overall. I'm happy with this palette. I would actually recommend this one. I just want Revolution to give us more. I just want Revolution to push further and just give us some really intense metallics, and we know they can do it because some of them in here are like that, but I just don't understand why they won't do it for all of them, especially when they're putting in more metallics than mattes. They need to give us better textures. I think that is where they let themselves down at the moment. But I am pretty happy with this palette. I love how this look came out. I would actually recommend this one. I think the colour story is really interesting. I think there's probably quite a lot that you can do with it. I just want Revolution to do more. Like that's it. I just want them to push things a bit and give us some amazing texture because I feel like they can do it. If you enjoyed today's video, then do as always, please make sure that you give it a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment and letting me know what you thought of it. And if you haven't already, then do make sure that you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye guys.